sometimes the reminder page will load for me. So, okay. I have sent Anisha's help me. We are logged in from my. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. We see around 23 people have joined. I hope we'll have more learners joining us soon. While they join us, I would like to hear from you. How many of you are feeling sleepy after lunch? You can type in the chat box. I know that you cannot unmute or speak with me now, but I can put it in the chat box. Hello, 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 hello. Are you feeling sleepy? Yes, no. Come on, everyone. Give some exercise to your fingers. No. Okay, that's good. Good to hear that. Okay, we have mixed reactions. Yes, no, yes, no. Only one person says yes. Thank you for being honest. That's completely fine. I can understand. Okay. No. Okay. Okay. Until everybody responds, we'll not go further. Okay. I want two-way communication because now we are doing it here. Okay. I'll not be able to see you. So I want you to exchange your energy via chat, right? So I want to hear from all of you whether, like, whenever I ask any questions, put it in the chat box, whatever is your answer. Okay, that way we'll be able to exchange energies. Yeah, good, 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 good. How many of you are actually excited to start becoming a full stack developer without writing code? If you are excited, type in excited in the chat box. I'm still looking for your response. Come on, come on, come on. Nobody excited? Only a couple of them. Hello, hello, hello. I am excited. Okay, only couple of responses so far. Come on. Okay, more, more, more. Okay, great. So let's get started with 35 plus learners joining in. Okay, hope to see this number go even further as we continue. So let's firstly understand the fundamental basics of web application development. Okay. There are only three fundamentals that we have to understand if you have to become a full stack developer, right? There are three things that we have to learn. Number one is the design, the front end, what your users will see, right? Number two is your database, where the data is getting stored. Number three is the connection between the two, right? The third one is where you connect the front end, what the user sees, with your database, which is getting stored on the server. If you understand these three fundamental things, you will be able to develop any web applications. Yeah. Let me tell you something which is very, very crucial. In the beginning days, you might feel that, oh, this is very easy. Okay, whatever Ritesh is teaching here is very, very simple. And we can do this easily. While that's a fact, while it is very easy, I want all of you to give enough time to practice, right? We have seen a lot of people who joined regularly in the initial days, but later on lose interest because they have not given enough time to practice and hence have lost the momentum. Okay. While I know that you might not be able to bunk the classes because college will ensure that you come and attend these sessions regularly. Okay. But if you do not find interest, then your overall outcome at the end of the cohort might not be as great. Right. So do practice. Okay. We will give you enough time in between so that you can practice. We will have Q&A sessions so that we can address your queries, right? All of that will be taken care of. But if you do not show interest, if you do not have dedication to learn, to practice, right, then the outcome will not be as great. Yeah. So can I have the commitment from all of you that you will dedicate time to practice after the sessions, before the next session happens? Can I have that commitment, everyone? If I can have that commitment from all of you, please type in C in the chat box for commitment. Okay, great. Nice to see everybody committing to this. So we have seen that you all have committed to this. Do we have the rights to hold you accountable if you do not show this commitment? Yep. Good. Good to see that all of you are committed to this. Great. How many of you want to feel proud of yourself that you are able to actually build some real web applications, right, within the next 3 months? If it's you, then type in me in the chat box. Maybe. Okay, good. Thank you for responding in the chat box. That way I'll be able to see that you are following and you are exchanging energy with me. Thank you so much. So let's get started with our first session, okay, where we will be talking about visual elements to begin with. Okay. So while I get started with visual elements, how many of you have used paint? You remember this paint? I hope you are able to see my screen. Do you remember paint, using paint? Yeah. So if you remember this, Bubble's front end is much similar to this, while it gives you more flexibility to change the way it looks and feels for the users, right? So if you recall, we can drag and drop elements like this. Okay, you can change the color of it, right? You can drag and drop boxes. You can drag and drop text elements where you can type in, right? You can change the font color, right? You can drag and drop elements and then change things. Okay. What you get when you start a new paint file is a blank canvas. Okay. Think of Bubble's front end just like paint. Okay. It gives you a lot of flexibility. That's a different story. But to begin with, let's understand or assume that we are working on paint. Okay. Can we get started? And please do not practice while I'm teaching. Okay. Let all your focus be on the screen. Okay. Don't do anything while I'm teaching. Once the session happens, okay, you will have access to the recording. You can go watch the recording again and do practice, right? Or even without the recording, you can practice. And if you are stuck with anything, then you go watch the recording and understand what needs to be done. And if you have any questions, of course, we are here to answer those questions. Okay, we will have specific sessions where we will be answering your questions and so on and so forth. We have the community who can answer the questions. A lot of our community members have already gone through all of this. So if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the community as well. Yeah. So with that, let's get started. I'm starting with visual elements, and the name suggests what are these, but let's go through it one by one. Yeah. So we will begin with text element. Okay. So when you click on the element and click on the canvas again, a text element will be added, or you can also drag it and drop it on the canvas. Okay. Now here you can add any text that you want. Right. So I'll just increase the width of this particular element. I've seen a couple of questions which I have not yet answered. We will come to that. Okay. I know a couple of you have asked a question which I have not answered. So if I'm not answering any question, then that would only mean that that is not relevant at the moment. Okay. I will answer it definitely at the end. Okay. Wherever it is relevant, I'll answer it. Do not think that I'm ignoring your question. Okay. Everything will be answered. Everything will be clarified. Okay. So coming back, a text element where you can add text to it. Okay, any text that you want, you can add it over here. We will get into the properties and all of that in a while. Okay, let's understand what are the visual elements that we have first. The next one is button. Okay, again, this looks like a button, and you can have like login, register, log out, anything that you want in a button, you can put that text over here. Okay. The next one that we have is an icon, right? As the name suggests, it's an icon. Okay. There are hundreds of icons for us to choose from. Okay. So if we want log out, let's say we do not want to add a full-fledged button, but we just want to give an icon, then you can search for that particular icon. Okay. For example, log out, and we can use this icon. Okay. Now, there are scenarios where whatever you're looking for might not be available. There are multiple icon families here. Okay. So what we have added right now is from material icon. Then we have Phosphor, Ionic, Feather, Bootstrap icons, Font Awesome, V6, Font Awesome, V4. And within each of these families, we then have outlined, filled, rounded, and so on and so forth. Like there are so many icons available. Okay. I would like you to explore this after the session. Okay. Let's understand the basics first. Uh, Link allows you to add particular link. Okay, so you can add what to say, a text here. Okay, like so here. Okay, you if the link is supposed to be a internal page, that is any page within this application, then you can use this internal page, and then it will allow you to link it to any of the internal pages that we already have. Okay. To begin with, we will have index, reset password, and 404 as default pages. By the way, I hope all of you have created Bubble account, right? And you have got your application ready. Even if not, we will take care of that at the end of the session. Last 30 minutes will be for Q&A. So do not worry. Fully focus here. If you have any questions, put it in the chat box. I will see, and if it is relevant for the moment, I will speak about it. If it's not relevant, I'll keep it at the end. You can ask me again and I'll answer them. Okay. Please concentrate here because we are going to discuss about a lot of properties and everything which will matter a lot. Okay. If this is not an internal page, then you can give it as external URL and it'll ask you what is the destination URL. Okay. So this can be like, HTTPS abcd.rates. Okay, that's the external URL that I want this particular text to link. Now we can also tell open this in new tab and so on and so forth. We will come to that a bit later. Okay. Next one is image. Okay, so you can drag and drop the image element. Okay, and you can upload any image from here. Okay, that is any images that you already have on your computer. Okay, or there is also something called dynamic images, which means we are fetching the image from the database. Okay, right now I will upload some static image. We will come to dynamic image a bit later. Okay, or we can also use external source, which is gotten from pixels. Okay, so let me add this one. Looks beautiful. Okay, so we've got this image. I can also change the dimension. Okay, let's move further. Now we have a shape which is not of too much value because it is just square or rectangular shape that we can have, which we can also do with grouping. Okay, so we will ignore the shape for now. We'll go to alert. right? This is a alert box wherever you want to showcase any alerts to the user, like uh, your login, your password has got changed, your data has got saved, or what is it? You might lose data if you do not save it. Whatever warning or whatever message that you want to give for a short time, and it goes off, right? So this is meant for alert. Okay. Next one is video. Okay. It allows us to link two types of videos. One is YouTube video or Vimeo video. Okay. Let's go with YouTube. I'll add one of our YouTube videos. Just give me a minute. Okay. So I'm going to add video here. Ideally, just the ID is sufficient. Okay. You can also change the dimension of this particular player. And then we have HTML, we have map, we have built on bubble, and so on and so forth. Let's ignore these three for now. Okay. Once you have added all the elements, whatever you want, if you want to check what is or how does it look when the user gets to see this, okay, then click on this preview button. It opens a new tab, right? And you can see all the elements that you have added on the front end, right? You can see that this was anyways added by me before. We have added a text element, we have added a button, we have added an icon, we have added a link. And now when I click on this, it actually opens the link that I had given, right? So I'll come back. We've added an image, we have added a video. Okay, it actually plays.
Hello everyone and welcome to
right? So everything that we have added will be shown on the front end. And now if I can take this particular link and put it in the chat box, sharing the link, you can actually open this link and see whatever I'm able to see. If you are able to see whatever I'm able to see, okay, after opening this particular link, please type in the chat box, yes. Yeah. Can you all see this? So there is no need of compiling the code. There is no need of putting the code somewhere else and then all of that, right? You can quickly see, you get a link, you share that link with everybody, and everybody is able to see what we are able to see, right? Real fast. Okay. Now let's understand more about the properties of these elements. Okay. You might say that, oh, this is good, but this does not look nice, right? How do we make it look nicer? Okay, so let's understand some properties of these elements. Okay. While I go to the properties of elements, how many of you have used Google Sheets or Excel files? or Word document. Docs.me. Sorry. So Microsoft Word or what to say, Google Docs. How many of you have used? Yeah, most of us have used that, right? So if you remember, right, add any text and then you can format it, right? You can format it with what to say, text type, whether it is title, subtitle, heading 1, heading 2, and so on and so forth. You can change the font families from here. You can change the font size from here, right? You can select the text and change the font size. You can make it bold, italic, underlined, change the font color, right? You can, what to say, mark it with highlighter. You can add it as a link, right? You can change the alignment of it, okay, whether it is left aligned, center aligned, right aligned, okay, or whether it is what is the spacing between the lines, okay. You can add bullet points, numbered list, okay. All of that can be done, okay. Now, if we go back, similar properties are available even on Bubbles text element. Okay, these are called styles. Okay, we will come to styles a bit later, but see here you can change the font family. Okay, by default it is in Inter for now. I can make it as Arial. Okay, I can change the weight of the font. 400 is regular. If I make it as 600, it becomes slightly bolder. I can change the size of the font. Okay, 16 to let's say 18. I can change if it has to be aligned left, center, or right. I'll just increase the width of this so that you can actually see this happening. This is left aligned, this is center, okay, this is right aligned, right? You can, if it is in regular font, then you can also make it as bold, italic, underlined. You can also change the font color from here, right? You have word spacing, you have line spacing, you have letter spacing. All of this is available just like we have in Google Docs or Microsoft Word. Now, if the height of this particular element is more, then you can see if I remove this checkbox, which is center the text vertically, right? Then the text will be on the top. If I get this, then it will come to the center. Okay. Likewise, we have background style. So by default, this has none as a background style. I can go to flat color. I can add some background style to this, right? Whatever colors you want. This is in hex code. And you also have by default some colors added here. So you can choose from them, right? You can choose like whatever you want. Okay, background color. Again, you have like flat color, gradient. You can add an image as a background, right? When you click on image, it'll ask you to upload some image, or you can also get the image dynamically, or you can get it from external source like we did in the image element. For now, I'll go with flat color. And because background color is blue, I'll make this one as white. It looks nicer. Okay. And I'll make it as center aligned. We can also add borders to this, right? So we will add a border. So that I'll just remove the background for now so that you can see the border clearly. I'll make the font color as black. You can see the border being added. Okay, even if Even if you refresh the page that I have shared with you, the link that I've shared with you, you can see all these changes happening in real time. Okay, just that it'll ask you to refresh every time I make changes. But if you refresh, you can see the changes that's happening. Okay, so I'll go back to this particular element, and we have made the border style as solid. If I make it as dotted, then you can actually see dotted lines as border. Okay, if we go to the preview mode, you can see that this is dotted lines now. I'll zoom in a bit, right? So this is dotted lines. Likewise, if you want to make it as dashed, then you can make it as dashed, double, like there are so many options available. Okay. Uh, you can change the width of the border. Okay, right now it is 1. Let me make it as 5 so that you can clearly see that, right? The thickness of the border is 5 pixels now. Okay, and we can also change the colors like we did in background style. Okay, not just that, you can also change the roundness of the border, which means the corner. So right now, if I go to preview mode and refresh this, you can see the corner is full sharp, 90-degree, right? I can make the roundness to, let's say, 5. Okay, it will not be very clearly visible with dashed, so I'll make it as solid for now. Okay, and you can see that the corner is not sharp edge now. Okay, there is some curvature added. I'll make this from 5 to 20, and you can clearly see the border changing. Yeah, likewise, we can add shadows. Okay, outside, inside, and once you select any of these, it will ask you for horizontal effect, horizontal offset, vertical offset, blur radius, spread radius, and so on and so forth. Okay, let's put it none for now. Now, these properties are not only available for text elements, but for most of the elements, right? So if you go to this particular button element, you can see the same properties added over here as well. You have font, you have weight of the font, you have the size, the alignment, bold, italic, underline, the font color, word spacing, line spacing, letter spacing, background style, background color, right? All of this is available. Okay, if you go to icons, might not you might not see all the properties that we saw in this too, but you can still see some of the properties which are relevant for icons. Okay, for example, you have background style, you have borders, you have shadow. Okay, similarly, it goes with the link as well. You can see all the properties that we explored in the text element. Okay, image also has similar properties. Okay, you can see that we have border, we have shadow. Okay, in alert box also we have some of the properties, and in video also we will have some of the properties. Are we all clear until here? Are we all good until here? Somebody asked how to add YouTube video. It is very simple. You go to YouTube. Okay, and take any of the videos. Let's say, for example, this one. Okay, copy the V equals to this part. We only need the ID. Copy this ID from here. Come back and paste that ID over here. And if we refresh, you can see that particular video being added. Okay. Are we all clear with what are visual elements? Yep. Can we move on to the next section? So in what I say, bubble, after visual elements comes container, but we will come to container a bit later. Okay. We will now go to input forms. Yeah. Are we ready for input forms, everyone? I'm going very slowly so that all of you are able to understand. Okay. If you need me to repeat anything, please put it in the chat box and I'll definitely cover that again. We have ignored shape deliberately, Abhilash. So yeah, we'll ignore it for now. Okay. Now let's go to input forms, right? There are a few input form elements that are available. Again, please note everything that we are using are elements by default, right? So all of these are elements. All of that we are going to cover now will also be elements. Okay, even these are elements. Okay, so input forms. I drag and drop this particular input element. So it'll ask me what is the placeholder. Okay, so basically if we go to, let's say, yeah, so if you see this particular box here, right, this is also input element, and search Google or type a URL, right? That is a placeholder. Okay, placeholder is just meant for the user to understand what to type. Okay, so if we say enter your email ID, okay, user knows that they are supposed to enter an email ID here. Okay, placeholder is meant only to educate the user as to what is this input meant for. Okay, now closely observe whatever we had done until now, visual elements, is for us to communicate whatever we want with the users. So if I go to this particular Chrome extension, okay, or let's go to any Airbnb, let's see. Right, you can see that amazing views, icons, okay, farms, amazing pools, rooms, all of this is what they want to communicate to us, right? They say that we have all of these filters, use these filters to select the best matching Airbnb that you want to book. Whereas this section, right, these are input fields where they want us to input what is that we are looking for. Okay, here we can input our destination, here we can input our check-in dates, here we can input our checkout dates. Okay, here we can input how many guests are coming and what are the details and so on and so forth, right? So these are input elements. All the other things are the visual elements or some other groups and so on and so forth. Okay, so input element is meant for us to take the inputs from the users. Okay, and that's why it is called input form elements. Okay, now we have just seen what is input element, which is basically meant for single line input. Okay, enter your name, enter your email ID, enter your password, or enter your city, right? Anything that we know will be short answer or a single line answer. Okay. Now we will go to multi-line input box. Okay. As the name suggests, it will allow the users to type multiple lines of input. So I would like to understand from all of you, where do you think multi-line can be used in the applications? What could be some of the examples for using multi-line inputs? Yep. What are the examples? Feedback. Very good example, Karthik. What else? Others? Address. Yeah. There is special field for address. We will address that. Okay. But yeah, chat box is a good example. When stating the description of an item, maybe. Yes. Very good example. What else? Come on, come on, come on. If you don't share your energy, my energy will go down. Do you want me to be dull, boring like this, or do you want me to be energetic and share a lot of things? Bio descriptions, very good example. Samrat. Comment box, yes, very good. Your WhatsApp chat, is it single line or multi-line input box? Delivery details, yes. Come on, looks like less than 10 people are actually awake now. Everybody else slept. Is there any no distraction zone in Sahyadri College or something? Come on, guys, wake up. I want everybody to respond. Those of you who are responding, can you please help others also wake up? Maybe they are sleeping. Hello, hello, hello. Come on, come on, come on. WhatsApp is multi-line. Yes, that's true. Email. So, email body is a multi-line, while email ID is a single line. Okay. Come on, everybody. I don't see the exchange of energy happening here. You have been a wonderful audience so far, but now I see that the energy has gone down. Instagram posting. I'm not a regular user of Instagram, but Instagram is generally images and videos, right? Code editors are generally multi-line. Yes, that's true. Forms, no. So forms can again have single line, multi-line, and forms is a very different this thing. Search boxes are generally single line, right? You just add some text and it searches for you. So generally single line. Blog is a very good example of multi-line. Online written exams. Very good. Thank you everyone for those who are active, and for those who are sleeping, you will miss the train. So wake up soon. Okay, let's carry on. Okay, so we are done with input box. We are done with in multi-line input box. Of course, we'll come to it and see some more details of it. Writing a review of a product, yes, that's a good multi-line example. Okay, so this is a checkbox. If you see, most of the applications will have something called I agree to terms and conditions, right? So that's where we can use this checkbox. Okay, so label I agree to the terms and conditions. Okay, so we can expand this one, and this is for those kind of things where you check them. We have a drop down, right, for users to select one of the items. So choose gender. Okay, we can go with static choice for now. We have also have dynamic choice. We will explore the dynamic choice as we move on. Let's say male, female, do not refer to. You can see I've been sleepy. Okay, do not prefer to specify. Okay, likewise, we can also have radio buttons, right? It also works just like this one. We can copy paste the options over here. Each line is a new item. Okay, we can expand this. So this is a drop down where you will have to click on the drop down and select one of the options. Here you will have radio buttons and you can select one of them. Okay. And then we have search box. We will come to it a bit later because we cannot search anything right now. Slider input, right? As the name suggests, it allows you to slide. So min value is 0, max value is 10. You can give step as 1, which means every time you click, it will increase by 1 number, and you can slide through. Okay. We have a date time picker, which allows you to pick date and time. By default, the input type will be just date, but you can select date and time as well, which allows you to pick the time aspect of it as well. Okay, so let me go down, and then we have a picture uploader. Okay, closely observe, this was an image element, right, where you are adding the image and you are asking the users to just see the image, right? So if you go to Airbnb, this is the image that has been already added by their users. Okay, of course, we allow the platform allows them to upload. So is this an image element or a picture element? Picture uploader is this one, which allows the users to upload their own image. Okay, image element is the one where we as developers upload the image. So these images that we can see here, is this picture element or image element? What is this? Picture element. Others? Picture. Only 2 people active now. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, everyone. I want everybody to respond. Come on. They may be picture hyperlinks. Okay, picture, picture, picture. Everybody says it's a picture element. Okay, I deliver. Just give me a minute. Sorry. Okay, I deliberately asked this question, right? While the users are uploading their own image, okay, this right now is a image element, not a picture element, right? They would have given them a form where the users can input the images, okay? But here, whatever we are seeing right now is an image element, okay? This one. For us, this is a static image. We cannot change this, okay? Of course, I mentioned that developers would have uploaded their own image, okay? But image element can also be used to dynamically show whatever users have uploaded, which is stored in the database, okay? Whereas picture element is meant for the present users, whoever are using the portal right now to upload images, okay? We'll we'll come to that distinction a bit later when we actually build some forms and stuff like that. File uploader will allow us to upload any files like PDF files and so on and so forth. Okay. If you go to the link that I shared long back and if you refresh the page, you can actually see all the input elements that I have added. Right? We have an input box, we have a multi-line input box, we have a checkbox, we have a drop down which we can select from. We have a radio button which we can select. We have this one, right? Which is a slider input box. Yeah, then we have date and time. I can select the date. I can also select the time from here. We have a image picture uploader where I can upload the picture. Okay, this allows me to upload something, right? It is not a static image for me like this one. This allows me to upload something and that's why it is picture uploader. Yeah. Sorry, I'm having a lot of cough. So, and finally, we have this upload a file, okay, which allows us to upload a file. There is some text being which is overlapping this particular box because we are in the debug mode, right? So I'll remove this debug mode equal to true. Now all the things that I had inputted will go off, but we can see that this is available for us to upload any files. Yeah. Are we clear with what are visual elements and what are input form elements? Everyone? If it's clear, please type in clear in the chat box. Please type in clear in the chat box if you are clear with what is visual elements and what are input form elements. Come on, come on, come on, come on, everyone. Okay. Now let's understand a bit more. Okay. of some of the properties of the input elements. Okay. Like we have seen the properties over here, we also have properties in input elements, right? Now, in the input element, which is basically for single line input, okay, you can mention whether it is a plain text, okay, which can be used for name, email ID, password, city, zip code, right? Anything where you know that the answer will be short. Okay, you can use single line input box. Now, bubble by default gives you the validation as well. So if you think it is a plain text, then you can make it as text. If it is an email input box, then you can make it as email. Okay. What this does is, if you enter any plain text, let's say for example, I write some plain text, it will show a red box like this. Okay. It tells that this is not a valid email address. Okay, so you can see that please include an at in the address, email address, right? So we will include, or like we can include an at. Will that solve? No. We also need a dot, right? At something dot something. Now it will accept this as an email address. It will not check if this email actually exists or not. It will only check if the text is formatted in an email format or not, right? It needs to have an at, it needs to have an plus without any other special characters. Okay. You can also make this as a password, right? Now, if you make this as a password, then whatever you type will be not shown on the front end, it will show as dot dot dot. Okay. And whenever you use a password field, when you are saving it in the database, right, Bubble will take care of encrypting it so that it's not exposed. Okay, we will come to that part a bit later. You can also make it as integer, okay, which means you will only allow integer values, no text characters. So if I type anything text, it will not take. If I type numbers, it will take. Okay, this is integer value. Likewise, we can also have decimal, we can have address, we can have US phone, we can have percentage, currency, date, euro, date, text, which is numbers only, and so on and so forth. I'll go back to text, I'll keep it as text. Okay. And you can also limit the number of characters if you say that you want a maximum of only 10 characters. Okay. For example, if you are asking them to give a phone number, then you can make it as 10. If you're asking them to give a zip code, right? And if you're sure that all the zip codes are only 6 characters, then you can make this as 6 characters, right? If you're asking them for a PAN number, okay, then you can limit the number of characters. Yeah. So limiting the number of characters only if you are pretty sure the answer should always be less than that, right? And of course, you have the properties like we saw in the visual elements. You can change the font family, you can change the font weight, the size of the font, and all the alignments and all of that. Whatever we saw in our text element, we can see all of them here as well. Okay. Because it is a single line input box, we don't have line spacing added over here. Okay. Let's go to the multi-line input box. So here you have limiting the number of characters, right? And you have all the other properties that we discussed. Here we have line spacing as well because it is multi-line. Okay. So this one has other properties like the font family, the font weight, and all of that. Okay. It does not have limiting number of characters because we are not allowing anyone to type. It is either yes or no. Okay. Here we have the option to add the choices that we want the users to choose from, right? and all the other properties that we saw in the text elements. Okay, we have borders, the width, the color, shadow, and all of that. Similarly, here also we will have all the options. Okay, we have similar options over here as well. Now, when it comes to slider, okay, we saw a simple slider. We can also have a range slider. Okay, which basically means that you can have two values. It's not a single value, it's a two value thing. Right? They can say, okay, I want a range from 2 to 5. So I'll slide this to 2 and I'll slide this to 5. Okay. Likewise, in the date and time element, we can either use just date, okay, or we can say date and time, right? And then we can say what should be the time interval. So if you see here, when we went to the time element of it, right, it was available with a interval of 30 minutes. Started at 12 midnight, 12:30, 1, 1:30, 2, 2:30, and so on and so forth, all the way until 11:30 night. Okay, that's because we had given time interval of 30 minutes. If you make it as 15 minutes, right, if we go here, you can see 15 minutes interval, right? So you can adjust that as well. If you want 1 hour, then make it as 60 minutes. Okay. You can also have formatting, okay, time format, whether you want it to be a 24 hours format or whether you want it as a AM PM format. Okay, you can have minimum date, maximum date, and so on and so forth. So for example, if you want only people who are 18 years and above to register, right, then you can click on the minimum date. Okay, let's assume that we are asking for date of birth. Okay, and we want only people who have who are 18 years or above. So what I'll do is I'll use current date and time. Closely observe, I'll show it again. Okay, you have this click over here. I'll click on that and then I'll search for current date and time and then plus years. Okay, plus years, and then I'll put minus 18. Right, that is the minimum date. So when I go to this particular field, right? Oh, sorry, that should have been the maximum date, not the minimum date. Yeah, that should have been the maximum date. Now, if I go here, it'll allow me only March 5th on 2007. Right? After that, it will not allow. Before that, I can select any date. After that, it will not allow. Okay, because I want only people with 18 years or above to register. Okay, so we can control this with min date, max date, min hour, max hour, and so on and so forth. Okay, of course, you have all the options of font changing, the font weight, the font size, the alignment, and all of that, like we had in every other case that we saw. We have an image uploader thing, right? So here also we have an option to format it. Okay. Just give me 1 minute. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. So we have all the options available, whatever is relevant to image. Okay. One good thing about image is if you make the roundness as 100, okay, and the layout, the width and the height of image are same, let's say 100. is to 100. Okay, it becomes a circular thing. Okay, so if you have observed in social media platforms and all, you see a circular profile picture. This is how you get there. If I want this to be a circular, then I can make it as 250. 250. The height and this thing should be same. Let me make it as 150. Staying too much space. And I can go to appearance and change the roundness to 100. So you get a circular view. Okay. Following everyone. Okay. Likewise for file uploader also you can add borders. You can add background, all of that. Like I want all of you to explore these properties. Okay. With regards to file uploader, you can also say what is the maximum file size. Okay. By default, it will be 50 MB. But if you want to accept only smaller files, you can make it as 5 MB, 1 MB, or whatever it is. Are we good until here? Everybody clear so far? Okay, cool. Now, whenever you go to any web application, sorry. Yeah, so whenever you go to any web application, okay, what is one thing in common? What is one thing in common? Any web application, generally you go, they will ask you to do something. What is that? Let me open incognito mode. Let's go to LinkedIn, for example. What are they asking for? Let's go to Facebook. What is that they are asking for? Let's go to Quora. Right? What are they asking for? What is this called? Register login. Right? How many of you actually know how do we create a registration process for web applications? Type in me in the chat box. If you know how to actually allow users to create their account, okay, register on the portal securely, okay, with their email address and a password. If you know how to do this, type in me in the chat box. Okay. We've got couple of me's. Anybody else? Okay. We've got a third person. Okay. Good. Now, if I may ask you, how much time would it take for you to create a registration process? Okay, where you are storing the data securely and allowing the users to register on the platform. Okay, how much time would it take for you to create this entire thing of registration process with their email ID and password? Or you can also add name, phone number, or whatever it is. How much time would it take you? Where you can actually build a registration process and share the link with your friends, colleagues, right? Your family members, whatever it is. How long will it take you for getting this entire process done and share the link with your with your friends. How long will it take? 3 hours. Okay. Others, especially those of you who have typed in me in the chat box, how long will it take? Two minutes? Come on, everyone. Hello, 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 hello. I want you people to respond. Come on. About half an hour. Arey, why are you removing the message once you have typed it? Don't worry, we are not going to hold you responsible. If you think it takes 2 hours, type it. If you think it takes 30 minutes, type it. That's fine. I just want to understand how much time does it take according to you, right? It might be right, it might be wrong. That's completely fine. 30 minutes, 1 hour, 1.5 hours. Okay. Right? On an average, I think you feel that it takes about 1 hour, 1.5 hour, or minimum of 30 minutes, right? What if I told you that this can be done within 5 minutes, right? Somebody has mentioned 2 minutes in the chat. If you know of a way where you can do it in 2 minutes, that's really great. Okay. So, of course, yeah, you can do it in 2 minutes if you already know how it works. Okay. But let's try to create a registration page, okay, where you will all register. And I'll show you how to create this registration with very simple steps. And for that, I'm going to create a new page and closely observe how I'm going to create a new page. I'm clicking on this index. I'm going to a new page. Okay, add a new page. I will call this as register. I'll click on create. Okay. Now, you all help me understand how do I do that. What are the two parameters that we want users to input? What are the two parameters that we need? Please put it in the chat box. What are the two parameters that we may need to allow the users to register? The core parameters. What is definitely needed? We can go back to this if we want to have a look. Email ID and password. Great. Now, how do we add email ID and password? Should it be a text element? Should it be a what is the element that we have to use to allow the users to input their email ID and their password? What is the element that we have to use? What is the element that we have to use to allow the users to input their email ID and password? Should it be visual elements or should it be input elements? it should be input form elements, right? So we are going to use input element because we know that both email ID and password are single line input field. Okay, we don't want them to write their own stories there. Okay, so here will be type your email ID, and because this is an email ID, we want to ensure that this will be of type email. I'll copy paste this particular element. I'll drag it a bit down and I'll put type your password, and I will make this as a password field. Okay, so we've added a email ID field, we have added a password field. Now we need a visual element, which is basically a button, and I'm going to add a button over here, and we will call this as register. Okay, so I told you that we need 3 things for developing web applications. One is the front end, one is the database, the third one which connects the two. Okay, for now we have done the front end part, which is we have added a email ID element, input element, we've added a password input element, right? We've added a button. Now let's go to the database, right? So on the left side, we can see that this is design. This is called workflows. Okay, this is backend workflows. We will ignore this backend workflows for at least a few sessions. Okay, this is where the data will be stored. So I'll go to data. And when you go to data, data types is where the data's table will be created. Okay, these are called tables. For now, if you don't understand, that's completely fine. Ignore it. Okay. So user table by default, Bubble will add it. When you create any project on Bubble, right? User table will already be available with one of the fields called email. Password will not be shown because that will be securely stored on Bubble server. Okay. So we don't have to add any data type because data type is already created for users. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'll go back to design on this particular register because the front end is available, the database is available. I want to connect these two now, right? We want to connect the front end to the database so that whatever user inputs will be stored in the database. For that, I'll click on this add workflow. I'll select the button and then I'll click on this add workflow. Okay. Then there will be an event created which reads when button register is clicked. Okay. What this means is when button register is clicked, these are the steps that needs to follow. Okay. So I'll click on here and the action will be account, sign the user up. These are readily available actions for you. You don't have to create anything, right? Sign the user up. So email is coming from email. Type your email ID field. So if you go over here, this is the input box that we created. And because we typed here the placeholder, type your email ID, the name of this particular element has become input type your email ID. We can also change this to input email ID. Okay. Or input register email ID. And we will change this to input register password. I'll go back to this. Because we had already added the workflow, now it will show edit workflow. I'll click on edit workflow. And it's asking us what is the email ID and what is the password. So the email ID is input register email IDs value. Pay close attention. If you leave it at this, you will see a error. Okay, this is just referring to the input element that we have added. We want its value. Okay, whatever the user has typed, that value we need to read. Likewise, search for password and input register passwords value. Okay. Now, I will just add one text just to show that we have logged in. Okay, or I'll add a button, maybe icon. I'll add an icon over here. Okay, which will be logout. Now, I don't want this icon to be shown unless and until the user is logged in. Okay, so I'll go to the layout. Closely observe, I just dragged and dropped the icon on the page. I'm going to layout. I'm going to uncheck this, which is this element is visible on page load. That means when the page loads, whether this particular element should be shown to the user or not, right? I'll uncheck that for now. I'll go to conditional. By default, you will be in appearance. We will go to layout. We'll uncheck this, which means on page load, this element will not be visible. I'll go to conditional, click on define another condition. Okay. And the condition is current user search for log is logged in. Okay. I'll show you again. Define another condition. Click on click. Select current user and search for log and select is logged in, which is current user is logged in. Then what are we supposed to do? What is the app supposed to do? Then this element is visible. This should be checked. Okay. Now, when I preview this particular page, you can see that it shows me email ID, password, and button. It is not showing me the icon. Let me register myself, right? abcd@with7.com. I'll put the password, register. Icon is visible now, which tells me that I am logged in. Let me share this link with all of you. I want all of you to register on the portal and see if you are able to see the logout icon at the bottom. Can you do that? Let's quickly check. If I go to data, and then from data type, I'll go to app data. I can see all the users who have registered. Okay. So I can actually know who are sleeping and who is awake now. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Quick, quick, quick. And once you're done registering on the portal, please type in done in the chat box. Okay, so we have got 5 registrations so far. Come on, 6. I'll be sending some updates from this platform based on the email address that you have registered, you are used to register here. So if you want those updates, if you want those resources, please register. Otherwise, you are going to miss out on those resources. Yeah, come on. 10 people registered. Others, we have about 40 plus people, 40 plus students here attending this one. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, great. We have 24 registrations, 25. 27. Okay. Some more, some more, some more, some more. 35. Okay, good. 5 more, I guess. 41. Okay, good. I think we can Okay. Did you actually see how simple it is? We just have to add two input elements. Okay. One, you mark it as email, the content format as email. One, you mark it as password. Add a button, add the workflow, and search for sign the user up, which is the first workflow here in the account section. Tell where is the email ID coming from, where is the password coming from. That's all. If you understand this process, how long will it take to recreate this? How long this will take, everyone? What do you think? If you know this process, okay, how long will this take? And did it take time for me to give you the link and for you to register and so on and so forth? I didn't have to do anything. Once I built, the link was ready, I shared the link with you. Yeah. How long do you think this will take if you have to build your registration page once you understand how this happens on Bubble? Will it be less than 5 minutes or more than 5 minutes? Including sharing the link and all of that, right? It's not building just the functionality, but also sharing the link where people can actually register. For those of you who are saying more than 5 minutes, right? 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. I think with practice, you will realize that it is just a 2 to 3 minutes job. Okay. It's taken us time about 10 to 15 minutes because we are just understanding how this works, right? You just have to drag and drop three elements, right? And connect it to workflow. That's all. Okay. Anyways, doesn't matter. It is still much, much, much lesser than if you had to code, right? Because most of you mentioned that it will take 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, right? So do you now realize why no code and why not code? I'll show you one more example. Okay. Now I've added this particular icon, which was meant for logout, right? If I want the users to log out from the portal, right? I'll add this workflow from here. So when I click on that particular icon, then I want users to log out. Okay. So I added the workflow here. I will click here to add an action. And then I say log the user out. I'll select log the user out. Go to your page from where you registered. Okay. Refresh the page. Without refreshing, it will not work. Refresh the page. And you can see this icon shown here, right? Which is basically telling that you are logged in. You can log out if you want. Click on that and the icon will go off, which means you are logged out now. Can you check this now? If the logout functionality worked for you after you refresh the page, right? Please type out LO in the chat box. Come on, everybody. Logged out? Not yet. 81 now. Some random registrations are happening. Okay, no problem. We'll figure out who has done that. Yeah. So to log out, we just had to add one particular workflow. Okay. Now I'll copy paste this particular button. Okay. Or rather, we will do it separately. So what I'll do is I'll get this button over here. I copy pasted the button, which is register. I'll place it over here. I'll call this as login. Similarly, I'll copy paste the email ID element. I'll paste it over here. Okay. And this time I'll call this as login email ID. I'll copy paste the password element. I'll paste it over here and I will make it as login password. I'll go to the button login. I'll add the workflow from here and I'll search for log and you can see log the user in. Select that. It'll ask you what is the email ID and password. Where is it coming from? Search for email and we have two email input boxes, right? One for register, one for login. We'll use the login one. Again, value. Similarly, password will be 2. I'll use the login passwords value. I'll go back to the front end, preview mode. I'll type in the email ID. And click on login. The button comes, which means I'm logged in. All in all, we built the register, logout, and login functionality, right? In less than 10 minutes. Of course, we took about 20-25 minutes to build this because we are learning. But once you understand how this is built, you can do this entire thing in less than 10 minutes. Do you now see how powerful no-code platforms are? Did we write any single line of code for this? Did we write any code while we did any of this? Do we need any coding background for this? How many of you are already able to see the power of no code? If you are able to see the power of no code, type in me in the chat box. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, we'll come to that question. For those of you who are able to see the power of no code, type in me in the chat box. And if you don't see the power as of yet, okay, like we have a question, is it efficient? Can we build real applications on this? This is just like login, log out, right? These are very simple things. Okay. If you have those questions, we will come to that. Okay. Now, what kind of applications can we build using no code platforms? Because you all might have this question like, okay, all of this is great, drag and drop, and all of this is good. But what if I want to build a really sophisticated application? Can I build what I say, very complex application which has like calculations, which has a lot of users using it? Can I really build a social media application and so on and so forth? Right? You might have all those questions. And the answer to this is a very simple yes. You can build complex applications. How many of you think Zomato, Swiggy, Airbnb, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, all of these are complex applications? I'm talking about the core functionality, okay, not the remaining part of it. Core functionality. Swiggy, Zomato, what it does? It allows you to order food, right? LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, all of these are social media applications where you can create your account, you can follow each other, you can see each other's posts, you can like them, right? Comment on them, and all of that. How many of you feel that these are complex applications? Retro, I'm not sure what's your real name, but you should be happy that you are in the right college, right? Because they understand what is the power of no code and they are allowing you to study this when other colleges are forcing them to study code. Yeah. No code and AI are the future. Yeah. Anybody will be able to build applications. I am from an electrical background. I have no knowledge of coding. Anybody and everybody will be able to build applications. Somebody asks, is there scope for no code? No code is the future, boss. No code and AI is the future. You just saw that it took us less than 10 minutes to build the login, register, log out, and login functionality, right? The same will be the case when we are building applications. Whatever would take you about 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year to build using code, okay, the same can be built within 1 month or 1.5 months using no code platforms. And in today's world, time is money. The faster you are able to deliver, the more money you will be able to generate. So, do I mean to say that there is no need of learning any coding? See, the fact is, if you're learning coding, you have to be one of the best in it. Okay? Because coders' job henceforth will be able to build no code applications. Right? So whatever we are dragging and dropping, there is a lot of code behind that. Right? So coders' job will be to make no coders' job simpler. And if you are that level of coder, then you have scope. Okay. But if you say that, okay, I understand code, I understand a bit of JavaScript, I understand a bit of C, I understand a bit of C++, right? I understand a bit of Python, then that's not going to help much. Because no coders will be able to do better job using this no code platforms. Right? So Samrat asks, will no code be allowed in interviews? Right? So a lot of companies have already understood that no code is very powerful and they're looking for no coders. Right? Let me give you a very open what I say statement about this, right? I have been looking for no coders for the last 1.5, 2 years. Okay. And I cannot hire any interns from colleges because none of the colleges in India teach you no code. There is so much demand in no code, but we don't have resources. We don't have anybody. Right. And that's when we decided, okay, we'll start training. And you are in one of the best colleges because they understand, they foresee what is the future. Right. And I want all of you to really take this 3 months, whatever training we are doing, very seriously, because I will challenge you if you are able to attend all of the sessions, practice it on a regular basis. Okay. Take the challenges that we give you on a regular basis, right? Which is more practice, right? I will challenge that you will be able to build better applications, okay, than third year or fourth year students. How many of you would want to reach that level in the next 3 months? How many of you would want to reach to that level in the next 3 months? Okay, I see a lot of people saying me, which is great. Okay, now coming back to a couple of questions. Will no code be allowed in interview? Okay, by the time you graduate from college, okay, definitely no code will be accepted, right? It will be a combo of no code and AI. We are in a very interesting world, everybody, right? There are a lot more things to learn. Bubble is also coming up with a way where you can just give prompt and prompt will build applications for you. And some of you are asking, what is the point of all of this when I can do it with code? You will need about 3 months to 6 months to build something like this, where you can just give prompt and it will build everything for you. Yeah. Even companies will start realizing that if they go via the code route, it will be 6 months or 1 year to build their entire platform, where everything can be done in 1 month, 1.5 months, or with prompting, it will be even sooner. Like you just give a prompt, it will build everything, and then you connect the dots and make it, what do you say, ready in, let's say, 7 days to 10 days. When you graduate 2 years later, yeah, definitely companies will consider this. I mean, in the US, in Europe, and all of that, right? People are already looking for no coders, a lot of them, right? Very good package. But of course, in Indian companies, they have started understanding the power. We have worked with a lot of Indian companies with regards to no code this thing. We have built portals for them, right? So there is definitely scope, but it is how well do you understand the platform? Are you capable of answering the questions they ask? Like, oh, why do I have to believe that you can do this with no code, right? If you're joining as a software developer and if the core aspect is web application development, okay, then they will ask like, why not code? Okay, you should be in a position to tell that there is no difference, and you should be able to prove that, right? You will understand that when we do these 3 months of sessions, you will see how powerful it is, right? And then you will start believing the statement that no code is actually powerful. And in most of the cases, I wouldn't say in no cases do we need code, right? In most of the cases, whatever use case is there, we can do that using no code platforms. There are a few cases where no code platform might not be useful as of now. Okay, like for example, if you want to build a gaming platform, right, then there is no code platform which allows you to build complex gaming, right? So there are some limitations, but for most of the use case, even if you're thinking about building a Swiggy clone, okay, Zomato clone, or Airbnb, okay, or your Sky Scanner, which allows you to do what is that called? Flights, scheduling, and rates, and all of that, right? Your social media platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, yeah, Facebook, all of that can be built using no code platform. Imagine how many developers would Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter would have had to build their platforms, right? Of course, the scale at which they are operating is very, very different. But if you learn coding for 4 years, okay, and if somebody asks you to build a clone of LinkedIn, how many of you think that you will be able to build a clone of LinkedIn using coding? Right? I can be very confident. I am very confident that if you follow whatever we are doing, in the next 3 months, you will be able to build a clone of LinkedIn without writing a single line of code. Right? Are you excited? I'll answer the questions. I'm reading the questions, so I'll answer them. Are you excited? Hello, 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 hello. Yes, says Pratham Retro, Akshay, Hare Krishna, Abhilash, Hare Kishan. Okay. Okay, great. Coming back to the question, what if bubble shuts down? Okay, very good question. What you're learning through this journey is not just how to build on bubble, right? You're learning a process, you're learning a method. Okay, why do you think I'm talking about Paint? Why do you think I'm talking about Google Sheets or Google Docs or whatever it is? We are learning the process of building web application, okay, which is connecting the dots between other platforms that we have used. Okay, if bubble shuts down, there is some other platform which comes in, okay, which will have the similar logic, where you will drag and drop things and it will allow you to do similar things. Okay, What you're learning is the method of building web application, right? By the way, Bubble has been there in the market since 2012. Okay, it's not a new platform that has arisen just like overnight or something like that. Yeah. So don't worry about Bubble shutting down or something like that. Right? Businesses have started using OpenAI and stuff like that. Why do you think businesses are relying on OpenAI? Right? Businesses can also think like, what if OpenAI shuts down tomorrow? What will our business happen? They'll shift to another platform, right? Similarly, it's not that you are, though everything stays on Bubble, okay, you don't have to worry about Bubble getting shut down, because if it's shut down, then there is other platform which will allow you to similar things, right? You can just use your learnings over there, drag and drop, do the settings, change whatever it is. Here we have what I say, sign the user up. They might say register the user, right? So here we have sign the user up. They might have given a different naming convention. Nothing else changes, right? If you understand one no-code platform, understanding other no-code platforms will become much easier. Yeah. With regards to companies which are hiring, there are so many companies, right? There are so many companies which are hiring no-code developers. Okay, you can go to actually firstly go to Bubble Showcase. Okay, because you have to understand how powerful of an application can be built using Bubble. Okay, so here Bubble showcases applications which are built on Bubble. Okay, you can see that 4.69 million applications created so far, 5 billion plus page views each year, 15 billion plus fund raised by Bubble users. Okay, 6.5K integrations and plugins and so on and so forth. So you can go through these, what is it? These applications, right? Click on this, it opens up a dedicated page for those applications. You can see what this particular application actually does, right? So this was an application that was built on Bubble, okay? Faceless.video, bootstrapped a 7-figure business, right? And when they say 7-figure business, it is not Indian rupees. They are talking about dollars, US dollars, right? With just one Bubble developer. Okay. 1 million US dollars ARR, annual recurring revenue. Okay. 2 to 3 months to launch. How many users are using it? Now, do you believe that applications built on Bubble can be complex? Can be scalable? Yeah. So here is your answers. Is it scalable? Does application built on Bubble make money? Is it much faster compared to code? Here's the answers. Right? You can watch all the showcases that has been shown here. Okay, read more Bubble success stories. You can read the success stories from here. Okay, there are hundreds of no-code platforms available there. Why did we choose Bubble? Because it has been in the market for last 12-13 years. Okay, it has been very what is it, stable. Okay, and it is coming up with a lot of advanced development tools. Okay, for example, Bubble is working on AI-based development. Point number one. Bubble is coming up with mobile application development within Bubble. Okay. Which means you develop in one place, which will also act as a web application, which will also be your mobile application on Android, which will also be a mobile application on iOS. So you built it on Bubble and then launch it on iOS Store and Google Play Store. Okay, all of this happening within Bubble without you having to rely on anything else. Right? So I hope this answers your questions of, is Bubble reliable? Can we build scalable applications? Right? Why Bubble? Why not other no-code platforms? And so on and so forth. Right? Now, entry level salary depends on the company. It has nothing to do with your what is it, tech stack, right? It depends on company to company. Which company do you apply, and what is your credibility to apply for those companies, and so on and so forth, right? It could also be a stipend of 5,000, 10,000 in a very small company, right? Two, it can also be there are people who are earning in a couple of lakhs with just 1 year or 2 years of experience. You have to prove that you have knowledge, right? You have to prove that you deserve to get more. If you are in a position where you can prove that, you will get better salary. And don't even worry about salaries. Why are you worried about salary, right? If you have the skill, then you can become freelancer. You can be your own boss. Don't even worry about jobs. There are so many platforms which allows you to work for what I say clients without joining any company. So we will help you with all of that. Don't worry. Okay. We will help you with what are the platforms if you want to become a freelancer. Okay. How can you get into agency, building your own agencies, right? Where you can get your what I say clients and start working on it and all of that. Okay. We will have sessions for that specifically. I mean, not in this curriculum, but we will have as a part of our community and we will help you with all of that. Don't worry about that. Okay. All I expect from all of you to do is to join the sessions regularly, practice it, right? And share whatever feedback you have, right? With regards to the way we are running this cohort. Okay. Or if you have any questions, put it in the community, right? People will answer it. We will have question and answer sessions. We will help you all the way uh, in this journey, right? But you have to understand that, okay, this is a long term game, right? You have to understand, you have to prove that you understand this better and you will be able to build applications with complex logics, right? And that you will be able to reach there only when you practice. The more you practice, the better you get at it. The better you are, you'll be able to demand both. So salary and all will depend on basically that factor, right? And start like this 3 months is just a learning this thing for you. But soon after that, don't stop it there, right? Start building applications. Take some project from on a freelancing basis, build it, put it on your portfolio, right? Build your portfolio, right? When you go to an interviewer or when you are applying for a job, if you showcase that I've done 10 applications in the last 2 years, right? How will he or she tell you that, okay, we'll pay you only 5,000? Your portfolio says that you have done so much, right? When your portfolio is strong, right, you can demand more. And that's why I'm telling, please concentrate during the sessions, okay? Attend this session seriously and practice. Because whatever I showed might look very, very simple for you, right? But when you practice, you will start realizing, oh, there was something that you are missing, right? Today's session was very, very simple. We just had very simple thing. When we reach to the fourth session, fifth session, and so on and so forth, you're like, oh, what's happening here, right? And you will feel this only if you have not practiced the remaining sessions. So take this seriously, right? Practice, practice, practice. And you should feel lucky that you are in a college which actually are thinking about the future, right? There is no other college which is doing what is it, no code and stuff like that, which I know of, right? We have been searching for interns, we have been searching for developers who have no code knowledge. No one, right? So you should be proud that you've selected a right college, and management is actually thinking about the future. Okay, they are getting you programs which are actually going to help you in the future. Yeah. So I believe you have got the answers to all your questions. If you have any other questions, please put it in the chat box. And very soon, someone from our team will share our feedback in the WhatsApp community. Please share your feedback. Okay, feel free to share your feedback openly. If the session was good, share that it was good. If it was bad, share that it was bad, right? And if you feel that it was bad, please share what was bad, what went wrong, how can we improve, and so on and so forth. So we will try to improve it. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining in. I know that it is very hard for all of you to sit for 2 hours straight after lunch. Okay. But I hope it was informative. I hope you were able to learn something new. And I hope you are as excited as we are in this journey. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat box. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you on Friday at the same time. Thank you, everyone. I'm sharing this links in the chat as well. Okay, let's wind up. Thank you, everyone.